Thank you, Councilman Member Hucker, for convening this. Greatly appreciate that, and thank you, Ms. Howard, for inviting us. I think it's a good chance for us to introduce ourselves to you all, get to give you a chance to understand the Montgomery County Green Bank and what's. Can you?
Oh, my bad. Forward.
Yeah. I'll walk through what that all means in a moment, but we're on the verge of getting our first financial product out in the marketplace after the turn of the first of the year, and so I thought, and it's appropriate because it really fits with this particular audience. So, as a slide notes, our job, we have a nice long mission statement, but in its frankest terms, we're here to grow the market for energy efficiency and renewables, and I'll explain what growing the market looks like. But we were really set up as a tool by the county to help meet the county goals that Eric was referring to, the 80% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, and then also focused on multifamily and affordable and low and moderate income households. But just as some quick background, back when the Pepco-Exelon merger was happening, there was a pot of money that was coming through as a settlement, and the county had real foresight to say, rather than spend it through, let's find a vehicle that we can use that gets more out of that money than a one-time. And the Green Bank concept was one that was out there. And the county passed a resolution in July of 2015 that set up the infrastructure for a green bank. And then it spent a year of meetings with county residents to sort of figure out what a green bank should do and what should be its purpose. And then July of 2016, the county designated the Montgomery County Green Bank as the green bank for the county, in which it would receive up to $14 million of that settlement as its resource to use to spur investment in energy efficiency and renewable energy. We're established as a 501c3 nonprofit. We're separate from the county. We're not part of the county, even though we were created by the county. But we do report back, and we have good, strong working relationships with the county. But we are independent from them. So just some real quick basics about a green bank. We're not a bank. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. Green bank is a term of art to designate what the work of a green bank does, which is really act as a fund. It takes that money and it finds ways to invest that money to bring other capital into the marketplace to support energy efficiency and renewable energy. But we don't have a retail front. You can't go in and give us a deposit, so we're not that kind of a bank. But our job is to really grow the financing market around energy efficiency and renewable energies where money already isn't there. So in some places, the market already functions and there's already available resources to support energy efficiency renewable. But in some places, it's not. And so our job is to find out where those gaps are and then to develop a mechanism to support the gap. And often what happens, the gap exists because lenders are a little bit, they don't understand the market that they're going to invest in. And so they perceive a certain amount of risk in that marketplace, and they shy away from it because of that risk, or they charge a certain large amount of interest rate or other in order to make their risk more palatable to them. So our job is to sort of find out where they feel there is risk, and then to find a way to a mechanism to take away that risk from them so that they actually operate in that market. So we find lenders who are interested in that, and we act like an insurance agent, and we provide some backstop to them so that if they have perceived risk, we would take away that risk and they would then lend in that marketplace. They're going to have a lot more money than $14 million. So to the extent we can take a small amount of insurance risk, they'll put a lot more money in the marketplace. And our job is to at least try to get 5 times what our investment is in the marketplace. We want to get a lot more than that, but at a minimum 5 times. And that's what we're not the only green bank. There are a lot of other green banks around the country. We are the first local green bank, so in that regard, Montgomery County is really out on the cusp of innovation. So that's our job, and we're not going to be the front end. We're going to be behind players. We're going to be behind lenders. We're going to be behind contractors. Because one, we want to keep our size small and efficient, and not use up a lot of the $14 million to just cover our own resources. So we want to use as much of that as possible in the forefront. And as what we do, if we're going to take risk, we like to be compensated for that risk. So we want to take a little bit of something for what we're taking. So now I will explain this first product, and it will describe that which I just went through, how we do risk. So the first product we're offering is a commercial and industrial product. So it's actually intended for the audience that was set up here, which was perfect for this. And it's called the Commercial Loan for Energy Efficiency and Renewables. We expect to be in the market in January. And the gap we found, you heard Sandy and Fran talk about the Pepco Empower Small Business, which focuses on 60 kilowatt and has incentives and on-bill financing for it, and then it kind of stops. And then the county's got a PACE program for commercial properties, which operates for very large size loans. And what we've learned from the contractors and others, that $250,000 or more is when that becomes a feasible loan product. There's a lot of transaction costs. So in between where the Pepco Empower program was and that $250,000 was a gap, the contractor said, can you find a way to play and fill that gap in financing? So our loan product is set to offer a loan between $10,000 and $250,000. So we're finding the gap. And it's targeted to commercial and industrial properties and businesses. So what do? So we sit over here in this green. We're providing the insurance, okay, behind a lender. So if a lender is going to operate in this market and they're worried about risk, we're saying lend in the market. If you have a loss, we will take that loss from you. And so feel more comfortable about being in the market. So they said, fine, if you're willing to take that risk, I'm willing to put capital in the market and I'll make loans. The contractors are the ones out there working with all the small businesses, and they're, through the Pepco, we're working closely with the Pepco contractors who are out there scoping out what the product, what the property is and what the property could be, and trying to figure out what that improvement could look like. And then they're saying, okay, what incentives can they bring to the table? First thing in. And now we have a gap in terms of what those incentives covers and what the cost of the improvement is. We need financing to do that. And that's where the loan product comes in. The contractors will introduce the customers to the loan product and say, if you need financing, here it is. If they so desire it, they'll go to their lender. They'll get approved from that lender under a credit underwriting. They won't be underwritten for the energy savings, which is where the streamlining comes in. We're saying, trust us. That's why we're standing behind it, because we believe the energy savings will come through when that loan is made, and that business will be a better credit risk because they're getting the benefit of the energy savings from that improvement, and therefore they can pay off that loan easier. And so we stand behind it. If the customer ended up having a problem and defaulted, the lender would come and take our money, and that's fine. And so that's the structure that we have. This is the product, and we hopefully will have a couple lenders in the marketplace to offer this to lenders and businesses, to businesses through lenders. And so
I know I'm very excited to share that with my clients, that opportunity. I'm looking forward to getting the final details.